Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to an ARCSI Hot Topic webinar. Today, we're going to talk about how to pivot during a crisis. This week, we are thrilled to feature Carrie Knight. I want to congratulate Carrie. She is actually the newest member of our ISSA Residential Cleaning Council. She's going to be working with the council as to help provide guidance to ISSA for our residential cleaning company owners, which is obviously a very critical endeavor at this point. Carrie owns and operates a residential cleaning company in Tampa, Florida. She also runs a successful consulting business. She's bringing her expertise to us today because she's going to help us talk about how to pivot during this pandemic, how you can bring safety to your clients, your team, and yourself. Throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please type them in the question box on your GoToWebinar dashboard, and then Carrie will address those at the end of the webinar. And with that, welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, Erin. And thank you everyone for joining me on this presentation. So this has probably been scheduled since I would say maybe December of last year, I think, maybe December, January timeframe. And at the time, it was scheduled to be a topic related to marketing, which is kind of my specialty. So when all of this happened, Erin and I had chatted back and forth, and she's like, well, what about if we make it timely to, COVID-19 and how to pivot? So it's funny, like I'm not truly an expert on pivoting, but I certainly have some strategies that I can share to help all of you during this crisis. So Kevin, just want to make sure that I can get on here to share my screen.
Yep, you're sharing your screen currently. You're on the first slide. So whenever you're ready.
I am ready. All righty. So we're going to talk about how to pivot your cleaning business during COVID-19. So that's where we all are today, and it's kind of what's consuming all of our time. Okay, so this is kind of where we're at today. Like this is what we feel like. We feel like the same as we did back in 9/11 when that plane hit the Twin Towers. And I just remember my feeling, and I'm sure you guys all share the same feeling, like, things will never be the same. Our life and the world that we live in will never be the same. And I think we're right back here. The reality is that things will never be the same as they were before this crisis. And I mean, I'm in the same boat that you guys are. Like my business is probably operating at 50%. Each day we're getting back more and more. So I know that it's going to come back. But the reality is, you guys, is that things will never be the same. And we have to figure out how we're going to adapt and how we're going to change our business accordingly in the future. And the thing is there were things that changed out of 9/11 that are now the new norm. And so you hear this expression about the new normal. And I actually hate that term. Like I hear it over and over about the new normal. But the reality is that there's going to be a new normal that comes out of this. So in 9/11, we have all these security checkpoints. You have to take your shoes off before you can enter the airport. I mean, who would have ever dreamed before 9/11 that we would be taking our shoes off before we're able to get on a plane? Like nobody would have ever dreamed that that would come, but that's the reality of what happened in the world that we lived in, like before and then after 9/11. So there's going to be a new normal that takes place for all of us in every industry. So I really see a shift even in our industry of something happening. Like there's going to be a new way, not necessarily of cleaning, but maybe the government might get involved and tell us, some certain standards that we have to abide by in the new normal. It's just coming. So we have to be able to prepare for it and plan for it in the future. So I talked to a lot of business owners, and again, we're all in the same boat. We're kind of in this state of panic and fear. And I just want to tell you guys, like, I know what it's like to know that like the business that you had is like nearly crumbling around you. Like where you were and where you are now because of COVID-19, it's truly a sad state. I'm right there with you. My business was on fire before this. And the best thing that you can do right now is focus on the future. Like the best thing that you can do right now is forget about everything that's gone wrong. Forget about everything that you've lost. Forget about all the customers that have quit. Forget about all the things that have gone wrong. You have to pivot right now towards the future. You've got to put a plan in place so that you survive and then you thrive. First, we got to survive. But the only way that you can do that is you've got to focus on the future. Do not look back. Successful people never look back because they're not going there. They're not going back. Don't worry about the money you've lost. If you dwell on the money that you've lost, the customers that you've lost, the employees that you've lost, if you're only going to focus on the lost, you're never going to be able to move forward and see the things that you're going to be able to gain. So that's my best advice right now, is to forget about everything that's happened up until this point. Okay, I know that COVID-19 has turned your entire world upside down. It has for me too, but I will tell you, I have not stopped working. I have not stopped working on the future. Like, that's the only thing that matters to me, is the future. I don't dwell on the past because nobody has time for that. Like, nobody has time to sit there and dwell and think about everything that's been lost. Okay, so my best advice, if you get nothing else out of this presentation, if you get nothing else, do not focus on what you've lost. Focus on the future. You got to put plans in place right now to survive. So I want you guys to know that I've been here before. Like, I've lived this before, and some of you have too. Some of you were business owners back in 2008 during the housing crisis, and that's when my business started. So I had it rough, and I know a lot of people did during 2008, 9, and 10, and that's where my story begins. Truly, right here. This is where my story begins. I picked this article, the 2008 crash, and the image is so fitting for me and where I was. Like, I crashed. I nearly lost everything because of this business, because of the crisis. So it's like the fact that we're going through it again, it was like, oh man, I thought I've already been here. Like I thought I've already done this before, you know? But I truly want to tell you, like, this was the hardest part of my life, but it was also the best part of my life because I was able to persevere. So you're going to be challenged during this time, and you're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to dig in and figure it out. You can't, like I just said, you can't dwell on what's happened. You just gotta pivot and figure out a plan to get you towards success. So I have literally lived this before, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna survive again. So it's like round 2, bring it. I'll survive, and I know that because I've done it before. So I'm not going to talk a lot about my history, but I do want to share with you guys, I'm literally writing a book about my story, and the title of the book is I Should Have Quit. So I really should have quit. I'm not going to go into my whole story, but the reality is that the business was bad, my life was bad, my marriage was bad. I nearly lost, no, not nearly, I lost all my family's money, and we had to short sell our home. And it was because I had no idea what I was doing. So I should have quit. I literally should have quit. There's no reason why I should be here today talking to you about my success. Like it doesn't even make sense because I should have quit. But I figured it out and I persevered. So that's what I talk about in my upcoming book. It's harder than I ever dreamed to actually write a book. I'm not a writer, but I'm, going through and wanting to make analogies in how I survived. But I just wanted to share with you guys that I know a lot of you probably feel right now like that you should quit, and I encourage you not to, because you can survive this. You have to put together a plan. So the reason that I survived is because I took massive action. You cannot sit back right now during this time and think that, or not think, hope that things are going to change. Hope is not that hope is not a survival plan. Like to sit back and say, oh, I hope that things go back to the way they were. I hope that they find a vaccine. I hope that people will let me back in their house this year. Like hope is not a plan. You have to create a plan, and then when you create a plan, you have to take massive action. You have to move towards change. And that's the one constant in life, that it's constantly changing. And you have to take massive action, especially during a crisis. So for me personally, the reason I survived, and I believe this 100%, is because I took massive action in my business. I fixed all the pieces that were broken, and there were a lot. And a lot of them revolved around the fact that I didn't know what I was doing. So I found the help that I needed to figure out, what I didn't know, because you don't know what you don't know. But I also fixed things that were so critical to my success, like my company culture. Even during this time, like, you guys really have to figure out your employee situation, because it's your employees that make or break your business. And that's one of the things that I took massive action on, was to fix my company culture. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more about taking massive action. But I want to address this first. So how should you pivot? And I've talked to a lot of people, and everyone's, who I talk to is like, okay, Carrie, so should I do commercial cleaning now? Should I get a fogger? What should I do to bring in additional revenue right now while my customers have canceled? And I mean, that's up to you. Again, that's part of the overall strategy of your business, of what you should pivot towards. If you decide to pivot towards commercial cleaning, like if you're a residential cleaner right now and you decide to pivot towards commercial, you just have to understand that that is a different business. So you're actually going to go down a path of a whole new industry, because commercial cleaning is different than residential cleaning. Commercial cleaning is going to require a different set of employees. You're going to have different rules as far as the type of cleaning. You're going to have nights and weekends, and you have to be prepared for when your employees don't come to work. How are you going to address that? Are you gonna fill in for someone who doesn't show up on the night crew? Are you gonna show up on the weekend? So the commercial cleaning is the number one thing I hear in regards to pivoting. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that whatever you decide, you have to have a plan. You have to plan for this. You can't just say, okay, today I'm a residential cleaner, tomorrow I'm just gonna pivot towards commercial cleaning. Okay, that's great. What's your plan? Because you have to have a different set of, your whole plan from A to Z is different. Residential cleaning doesn't look like commercial cleaning, and I think Sharon touched upon that last week. So I'm going to tell you my philosophy on how you should pivot, okay? I want you to pivot towards what your customers want, okay? So right now, their needs and their wants are different than what they wanted 4 or 6 weeks ago before this crisis, okay? So I want you to pivot towards what your customers want, but don't deviate from what you're good at. So what I mean by this is, you don't have to change your business, but you have to change your business towards what your customers want. So this is what's critical right now. So when we talk about pivoting, I don't believe you have to pivot outside of residential cleaning. I don't. But I do think you have to pivot towards what your customers want. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit more, but I just want you to understand, like, I'm not here to tell you pivot outside of residential cleaning. I'm here to say, if you're good at it, great. Let's pivot towards what your customers want, and let's keep doing it. So the cell phone industry has never stopped pivoting. Like, this is the best example for me to show you how the cell phone industry didn't switch gears and say, oh, this cell phone thing doesn't work, right? Like, look back back at the old bulky big phone. They didn't say that, oh, this doesn't work. We gotta do something else. They literally just continued to pivot towards what their customers wanted. So back when we had this big, bulky, huge phone, their customers would say, you know what, I want something that's maybe smaller, it can fit in my purse, it's not as heavy, and maybe the battery life lasts longer. So they kept asking their customers what they wanted. What do you like about this phone? What do you not like about this phone? And then they kept pivoting. So they came out with this new technology, and each phone got a little bit better, and the features got a little bit better over time too. So then you're moving on towards a texting feature. And eventually they were able to pivot towards an iPhone. And it's because they asked their customers what they wanted. What do you want? And so this, to me, this is the best example of showing how things don't, like things are constantly changing, even though we're not aware of it. Like our industry is changing, even though we're not aware of it. And it's, you're pivoting towards what your customers want because their wants and their needs change. So I'm going to give you my recommendation on how you should pivot to survive this crisis. So the number one thing we're going to talk about is, first, we're going to fix your mindset. 2, you need to research what's changed. 3, you need to create a strategy. And 4, you need to take massive action. Okay, so let's dig into this. So number 1, I need you to fix your mindset. So the way that I see it right now is you have 2 choices. You can be this person, and you can go into your office and you can freak out, and you can let all of your employees see how you're freaking out and you don't know what you're going to do, and you continuously talk about, you know, oh my gosh, we've lost all these customers, what are we going to do? And it just, this picture just represents, like, you know, things are out of control. And if you go into your office and you let your employees see this, that they can sense this. They know that you do not have your act together. So you can choose to be this person, or you can choose to be this person. Like this person on the right is like, yeah, I got this. Even though they may not have this, but they still look like, I got this. I got my act together. I got, you know, my hair's done. I got my makeup on. I'm ready to rock the day. You've got to make a decision that you're not going to let this conquer you. You're not going to let the fact that the world is upside down, this isn't going to take you out of your game. And the only reason I share this slide, you guys, is because your employees can sense what's happening and you're the leader. A lot of times we forget that we are the leaders in our company. People look up to us for guidance, even in their personal life. So if you're showing that you're freaking out and you don't know what's going to happen, that's, you know, they look to you to, I guess, put them at ease and even make them feel good in their personal life. So I need you to be the person on the right and figures out a way to go into your office, even when things are bad, and be like, I got this. I'm going to figure this out. And that's all about having a different mindset. I think you already know this, but what you focus on grows, good or bad. So using that example of, you know, being the person on the left who's constantly freaking out, if you're going to just every day focus on the bad, you know, this customer, oh my God, we had another customer cancel. We had a weekly customer cancel. Oh my God, I'm never going to make out of this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're going to wind up being this image on the right where you're going to have a headache and you're going to go home with a headache. And this is what happens when you go home with a headache. You take it out on your family. And I know that because I've done it. And it's not fair to your family that just because things are going bad, and I mean, they sense it too. I mean, look at kids are home from school. Everything about the world we live in right now is truly flipped upside down on its head. But you've got to figure a way to focus on the positive instead of the negative. You can't have a positive life and a negative mind. I heard that saying a long time ago, and it's so true. So you've got to focus on the good things. Every day has good things, okay? And I know I'm not trying to say that you're not going to have a bad day, but the reality is a bad day is 24 hours. That's it. You can't let 24 hours affect you the way that, you know, sometimes we show up on our business. Like we take a bad day and we let it turn into a bad week. So I just want to just say that, you know, you've got right now, this is the time you've really got to figure out how to focus on being a positive leader and show that and show up that way every single day in your office. Again, your staff is looking to you to show them that everything's going to be okay. So, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with people, even outside of the cleaning business space, and they'll say to me, "Hey, Carrie, did you watch that that one show on Netflix or grown adults playing video games?" I don't even know. I've never watched Netflix ever. And so I put this image here. This isn't going to save your business, because if this is you, like if you're at home right now during this downtime and you're thinking this is a vacation, this is not a vacation. This is an opportunity for you to figure out how you're going to fix your business, how you're going to survive, and then how you're going to thrive. If this is you right now, I promise you things are going to be bad. That's what I promise you. You need, like, this can't be you. You're not going to be able to survive in the next, whatever, over the next year, 2, 5 years, if this is how you've elected to use your time during this quarantine. I haven't watched any TV. I don't watch anything. I'm a little bit different, but I've never watched Netflix. I don't watch TV programs, nothing. Now that's me, that's what I choose to do. But what I'm saying is, if you can't say that, you know, everything is doom and gloom and I'm going to lose my business and still sit there on the couch and not take action, okay? So this is the time, you guys, to get up off the couch. So successful people see opportunities where others see obstacles. From the onset of COVID-19, I also was freaking out. I had many conversations with my husband, and he's someone who's always looking through positive lenses. And in his opinion, he's like, Carrie, there's going to be so many opportunities that come out of this. Like, he's like, we're going to dominate in Tampa because businesses are going to go, there's going to be so many businesses who go under. And so that was his mindset right from the beginning. And now, I mean, since everything has evolved and I've talked to so many business owners, there are so many business owners who are creating opportunities themselves, even during this crisis. So people are giving away like free disinfection solution. And I don't know if you guys saw the video of Dan Smith. He had people in his community coming to this event on a weekend where they brought their own bottles and they were able to fill up with his disinfection solution, and they were lined up for miles and miles and miles and miles. He created an opportunity during a major crisis. I mean, that's just a small example, but I'm talking to so many people who are being creative and innovative. And it's not that maybe their business is paying off revenue-wise, but it's paying off because they're becoming like people who are active in their community, showing up for their community in ways that, you know, if you're just going to sit back, you're never going to be seen. So successful people take obstacles and they turn them into opportunities. You need to do the same thing right now in your business. It's time for you to get creative. And again, is it pivoting towards a different type of business? Maybe it is. But how can you show up for people in your community? Because there are certainly opportunities for you to shine during this crisis. So I want to talk about research. And I'm going to show you what I did that allowed me to pivot, essentially. So I am all over my Google AdWords. I spend a lot of money with Google, and immediately I saw how things had changed. So on the left are the searches that on the daily come through right now. So it's disinfectant spray, disinfectant, microban disinfection, EPA approved disinfectant. I look at this every day. And this disinfection, the searches started, like 6 weeks ago, whenever, at the very beginning, and this hasn't stopped. So every day when I go in and I look at how, the keywords and what people are searching on, I'm doing research. Like, to see what are people looking for right now, because before the crisis, none of this existed, nothing. I didn't even have a disinfection ad. So I had to pivot towards what people wanted. They wanted a disinfectant spray. They wanted me to use it, like you're looking at it, EPA approved disinfectants. So I changed all my keywords and I created a separate AdWords just for disinfectant. So on the right are the keywords that I've implemented. I just give you a little sample, but you can see that I implemented household disinfectant, disinfectant cleaner, disinfectant. And then I created an ad specific, or a landing page specific to just these keywords. Again, this didn't exist prior to COVID-19. I had to pivot because I researched what my customers were searching on. So you guys need to do the exact same thing. You need to understand what are my customers searching for? What are they looking for? I can tell you they're not looking at maid service right now. They're not. So you need to really dig in and understand what they're searching for. So I gotta believe that your customers are searching for the same thing that I did, that mine are. And I just show you this to show you that this is what's happening right now in the cleaning space when it comes to pay-per-click. So because I was able to do the research, then this is what I came up with. During this economy, your main business doesn't have to change, but the marketing around your business does. So if you take nothing else out of this presentation, I do want you to understand that the marketing that you were doing before, it doesn't apply anymore. Okay, the business can stay the same. You're still a residential cleaning business, but the marketing around your business now has to change. It must change because we now live in an entirely different world. Now, we'll go back to the old world at some point and the marketing can go back, but right now your marketing must change. So I'm going to dig into that right now. So marketing in a good economy versus marketing in a bad economy. So in a good economy, this is the ads that you see. In a good economy, people are moving towards pleasure because things are really good. Okay, so like the economy that we just came out of, like we were killing it. Things were really good for a lot of industries. And what people want during a good economy is they want to pay for vitamins. Okay, that's an analogy, but during a good economy, they want to feel even better. So they buy vitamins to make them feel even better, okay? So in this example, imagine waking up feeling good about the day. This is just me showing you that in a good economy, your advertising is moving people towards pleasure. They want to feel even better because things are good. They want to feel great. So that's selling vitamins. In a bad economy, which is where we are now, people want to move away from pain. So essentially what your ad has to trigger is to get them out of pain. So in this ad, never have pain again, no medications, no expensive surgery, no painful injections. This ad on the right is proving to people that I've got the painkiller that you need to get you out of pain. So this is the difference in your marketing. And I'm gonna show you on the next slide what that means for the maid service space. But I just want you to understand that there are two different ways to market during a good economy versus a bad economy. So everything in your marketing right now has to be around moving your customers away from pain. So with that being said, the old way is this: experience the freedom. Give us your cleaning jobs and enjoy the freedom. These are not my ads, I just picked them off. But this is the old way, and when I say old, I mean 6 weeks ago. This is the old way that we used to advertise, because people hired us because we gave them back their free time. We gave them freedom. We gave them their weekends free. Like everything, the messaging was around, we give you back your free time. That's what we do, because we come in, we take care of your house, and you can sit back and relax. That's the old way. The new way says, we keep you safe. We're open and we're taking steps to keep you safe. We wash our hands, we use sanitizer, whatever it is. So I need you to focus on the new way and shift your marketing accordingly. So again, the old way was about free time. Everything in the marketing and the messaging was about free time, because that's what we gave our customer. Moving forward, everything is about safety. So you really have to understand and use this as an opportunity to pivot your marketing the new way, pivot towards the safety message, okay? So the reason that we're all in business, or any business for that matter, is because your business solves a problem. And that's why we're all in business. But the key is that you, with the customer's problem, you have to prove to them that you have a solution, and that's when you have a successful business. So you have to understand that even though we're all in the cleaning business and we think we know what the problem is, the problem does change. And that's where we're at right now. The problem has changed, and therefore you have to have a different solution, okay? So here's the problem. We have this virus, okay? So we've got COVID-19. It's a huge problem. It's a problem in every business. So what is your solution? In my case, I have disinfection, okay? Now you may not have disinfection in your office, and I'm not saying that you have to. What I'm saying is that you have to have a solution to the problem. Remember this screen or this slide: problem, solution, and success. You have to understand right now that we have a new problem and your customer is experiencing this problem. Therefore, you have to have a new solution, okay? So my ad, I figured out real quickly that I had to have a solution to this new problem. And for me, here's my new pay-per-click campaign. I created a whole ad for disinfection, and I'm absolutely blown away that in the month of April, I think I had like, I don't know, it was something crazy, like 30,000 impressions, and I don't even know how many clicks. But what I'm getting at is this didn't even exist before COVID-19. Nothing. I didn't have an ad that said EPA approved disinfectant, kill harmful germs and viruses, keep your home safe. I didn't even have this, but I had to figure out, again, what's the problem? What's the solution? So I encourage you guys to figure out what is your solution to the new problem in your business. So it doesn't have to be disinfection, because I know some people are not comfortable saying disinfectant, and you do have to know what you're doing, because the last thing that you want to do is use bleach and something else and have a lab blow up in someone's house. So you do have to do your homework, which means that you need to get as educated as possible. And I think that ARCSI does a great job when it comes to educating all of us on the necessary cleaning products and tools and everything else that you need to take care of your customers. So this is the time for you to develop your new solution. So with that being said, step number 3 is to develop your strategy. So your strategy has to include marketing and innovation. And I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to say, you guys, marketing and innovation is everything in your business. Everything. You have to market and you have to innovate. If you don't do one of these, you die. Like, if you don't innovate ever, you just stay the same. My business started in 2007. I'm going to stay the same in 2020. You die. Like, you have to innovate, and you have to do both. You have to market and you have to innovate. So what do I mean by that? So from a marketing standpoint, you have to get crystal clear on what your marketing message is. Okay. Now, I talked a little bit about free time being the old method. So moving forward, we're going to pivot towards something that's new. What is your marketing message moving forward in this new economy? So there's different messages that I've seen, and everything revolves around keeping your customer safe. So here's one. And again, this is a message. It's a real simple marketing message that's so simple for your customers to understand. We keep you safe. We keep you healthy. Stay safe with us, clean and healthy. I just showed you some examples because you have to pivot your marketing right now towards, again, what your customer wants. And what they want to feel safe. How can you make them feel safe? You tell them that we keep you safe. And you do that in your marketing, you do that on the phone, you do that any call that they hear on your recorded line. Everything has to be around your keeping them safe. And I promise you, doing something like this is going to prevent cancellations, because you're stopping. Remember, the problem is the virus. You've come up with a solution because we keep you safe. Tell them what the solution is. That's going to stop and prevent them from canceling. Because right now, everything in every industry, including the airline industry and every industry, is addressing this. They have to make everyone feel safe. So how are you going to do that in your business? This is how I've done it in my business. So I have a message: stay safe with Maid Brigade. It's that simple. You're going to see that on everything, any communication that goes out from my office. This is what you see: stay safe with Maid Brigade. I also real quickly implemented a 10-point disinfection where we're cleaning the touch point surfaces, the high touch surfaces throughout the home: light switches, doorknobs, cabinet handles, counters, sinks. When I saw immediately that people were canceling, we were like, okay, we got to do something quick. And this is what we went with real fast. And we printed off a bunch of flyers and we left them with our customers so that they knew that we were taking steps to keep them safe. And this is the first thing that we did, that we made sure that they knew that we are in front of this, we've addressed this, we've got our 10-point disinfection, okay? So you don't have to steal this or whatever, but you do have to do something that makes them feel safe. You have to address it. You've got to address the elephant in the room. This is an example of some constant contact campaigns that I sent out to my customers. So the one on the left says, great news, we're now disinfecting with every cleaning, introducing our 10-point disinfection. So I sent this out, again, for reasons. I was in front of it. I met this at the front because I knew that people were canceling. I had to make sure that they knew that I was taking steps in my office to keep them safe. So great news, we're now disinfecting. The campaign on the right is we were closed for 2 weeks, and during that time frame, what we did is I shouldn't say we, it wasn't me. It was my husband and my kids and our office staff. They worked really hard at cleaning all of our cars, cleaning and disinfecting all of our power heads, all of our vacuums, all of our cleaning bins, all of our bottles. Like, everything was overhauled 100%. And I needed to make sure that my customers understood that we have them in mind, like we're taking steps, we're taking initiatives to make them feel safe. So this is what I shared with them. Great news, we're ready to get back to work. And here's all the things that we've done to keep you safe. And moving forward, we're going to use gloves, masks, and shoe covers. So I just wanted to share this with you guys so that you saw that, like, I mean, we haven't sat still. Like, we're nonstop. I'm probably doing a constant contact campaign and a text message every week. And it's all about over communicating. You can't communicate enough during this current crisis. I encourage you to over communicate with your customers. Over communicate. Let them know before they have an excuse to cancel. Put it out in front of them that you've already taken care of that. Put it out in front. So you cannot over communicate during this time. If you've sat back and haven't said anything, but your phone is ringing with cancellations, it's because you haven't addressed it head on. So be out in front of this and make sure that they know that you're taking steps to protect them and keep them safe. Now, your marketing message starts here. I've seen a lot of examples of cleaning business owners who haven't addressed COVID-19 on their website. And if you haven't taken advantage of it, you're missing the boat. You have to address this head on. And so what do I mean by that? Here's my website. I have a button at the top left in response to COVID-19. And what I'm addressing is my employee protocols, like what's changed in my office. We're wearing gloves, we're wearing masks, we're wearing shoe covers. We're taking this serious. We're following the CDC guidelines. I just encourage you to make sure that you're putting this out there because this is what people are looking for. They want to know that you're a responsible business and they can trust you. We're all in the same business. We're in the trust business. And you have to take these steps to make people understand that they can trust you. Okay, and this is just a simple example, but make sure that this is on your website. And a lot of people say to me, well, Carrie, I don't have the ability to do that. Well, you should. You need to. So it's just a missed opportunity because I'm just going to be real honest, you guys. We're not going back to the way that we lived before COVID-19. We're not going back. I think that for a while now, we're here. We're here with gloves. We're here with shoe covers. Things have changed. And so if we want to survive, we have to make sure that we let people know that their safety is our number one concern. The safety of my employees and the safety of my customers is what's most important right now. And I'm addressing it head on because it's right here on the front page of my website. Okay. So let's talk about innovation. So if I had a nickel for every time I heard somebody say the word fogger, I think I'd be a millionaire right now. This is what I mean by innovation. There's all this technology that's available right now. So I've got somebody here in a hazmat suit who's spraying down an office. There's all these different innovations that are now coming out of the cleaning industry, but it may not apply to the residential cleaning space. If you're a commercial cleaner, yeah, it definitely applies because again, this is what they want. So you have to pivot towards what they want, and this is what they want. So the best place for you to learn new innovation truly is to go to the ISSA show. All of this stuff that you're seeing here on this screen was there. You can go there and look at it and see how it works, test drive, you can actually test it while you're there. You have to continue to innovate in your business. I'm not saying you have to do this in the residential space, but what I'm saying is innovation is the only constant in business. It's just going to be, it's something that we have to embrace as things change in the new world that we're going to live in. I don't know if we're going to be spraying houses, but I imagine in the future we are. Okay. So this is PPE innovation, and I don't know if I should call it innovation, but shoe covers are now a thing, as well as masks and goggles and smocks. And now the new thing that I've heard of is disposable wipes because people don't want you to cross-contaminate in their home. So again, when it comes to innovation, it's something that we need to be aware of. These things will make their way into our industry, and we have to figure out how it applies to us and if this is what our customer wants. For me, I already shared that we are using shoe covers, we're wearing gloves, we're wearing masks. And it's just become the new norm. So it's gotten more expensive, and that's, I'm going to address that a little bit later too. But the reality is that you can't sit back and pretend that you don't have to innovate in your business, because if you want to survive this, you do. Okay, you have to figure this out and how you're going to implement this in your business. So I'm going to show you some examples of other companies and what I've seen from them when it comes to marketing and innovation. So the pizza industry is all over this. They are like out in front when it comes to no contact pizza. We're not touching your pizza. Like everything they're doing in their industry, they're making sure that you are safe. So here's pizza, Little Caesars Pizza on the top left. You actually go to their pizza portal. So it's some sort of, I guess, like an ATM machine that sits on the outside of their building. At least that's what I'm envisioning. And that it's all done online. You enter your code or whatever, and it magically opens and you've got your pizza. So this didn't exist before COVID-19. And I just wanted to show you guys this because this is innovation. They had to innovate quickly. And the same thing with Pizza Hut. They are now putting on a like a safety seal that you know that it hasn't been touched. So this seal on your pizza indicates that it's no contact, nobody's opened it, nobody's touched it. Again, the whole idea and what they're doing is they're making their customer feel safe. And on the right with the blue pan pizza, same concept, no contact pizza delivery. So they give you instructions on how you can get your pizza, and you never have to contact or touch anything. So just showing you this example. The car industry, I mean, they're adapting huge. So we all know that cars are not selling right now, so they have to get creative. So the Elder Ford, from the convenience of your home, you can now pick your vehicle, select your terms, and schedule delivery. Like delivery was never a thing before COVID-19. So the example on the bottom, quarantine, free delivery to your door. Like they're going to do whatever it takes to sell. And again, this didn't exist prior to COVID-19. They had to get innovative, and they're using their marketing. So this is marketing and innovation. Here's some other examples. Quick Lane Tire, with every paid service, will disinfect, what does it say? We'll disinfect the interior of your vehicle and wash the outside. And then for Tire World, pickup and drop off service. And then I put this example of the D.W. Campbell Tire because they put out in front what they're doing. Their gloves worn at all times by their associates, gloves changed often, vehicle doors handled, disinfected, steering wheel disinfected, and the gear shift disinfected. So again, they've adapted and they had to innovate in their business to keep their customers still coming in, right? They're still doing the same business, but they had to pivot towards what their customers were asking for. Same thing in orthodontist. They're moving online now. You know that their offices have been closed, so they had to go virtual. So you're seeing now where dentists are actually evaluating and looking at your teeth because you're sending in pictures online. So I think we all know that the world that we live in when it comes to medical or, you know, anything that has to do with going in an office, a lot of that's going to be moved to a virtual platform. So you can see like where it says virtual consults, that's probably where a lot of this industry is moving. And again, this didn't exist before COVID-19, but they had to get creative and they had to get innovative real fast. So what happens if we don't innovate? Like what happens if we just sit back and we say, you know what? I know that cleaning is going to come back. I know that people are always going to have us clean their homes. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to wait for when things go back. Okay, so let's just say we're going to do that. Well, let's ask Blockbuster how that worked out for them. Blockbuster truly sat back and said, yeah, these videos that people rent, it's never going away. Let me just sit back and coast because we've got thousands and thousands of stores all over the country. And we don't need to innovate. There's nothing else that's coming. The whole thing is they never saw Netflix coming. They never dreamed about some sort of platform online that would literally sink their business. They're gone. They are absolutely 100% gone. Blockbuster has been wiped off the face of the map because of Netflix, but mostly because they didn't innovate. So I don't know how our industry is going to change. I just know that it is. So we all have to be prepared, because the only constant in business is change. So don't sit back and think that you don't have to innovate, because you do. So the last step is taking massive action, okay? So you have to create some sort of strategy moving forward, and everyone's strategy is going to be different. It doesn't have to be the same, but your strategy does involve your employees. And this is where I see a lot of business owners messing up, is not sharing their strategy with their staff. Your staff is basically the one who executes your strategy. They're the ones out in the field cleaning. They need to understand, like, okay, moving forward, we're going to wear masks. We're going to wear shoe covers for every home. You're gonna clean your cars in between cleanings. You're gonna clean your vacuums. Whatever that strategy is, your entire staff needs to understand what that strategy is, and they have to be on board. Again, they're the ones who are executing your strategy. So whatever it is, whatever you decide it is, you have to make sure that every person in your staff understands, and this is where the over communicating comes into play. You have to continue, like a broken record, you have to constantly talk about how things have changed. Now, this is where I put my marketing hat on, and I say, no matter what your strategy is, do not discount. I hate discounts, and I especially hate discounts in the cleaning industry. I hate them. So I'm gonna talk why I don't want you to discount, but more than ever, you need to increase your prices and move away from discounting. So I truly believe that discounts destroy your business and our industry. Discounts devalue your service. So what I mean by that is, someone thinks that they can hire you for 40 bucks or 50 bucks. They don't value you like getting the respect that you deserve. I mean, for me, I've got a real company, I've got employees, I've got insurance, I've got company vehicles, I've got an office. I mean, all these things that make me a real true business. And for me to provide value to my customers, I can't be cheap. So when you are cheap, you're devaluing your service, but you're also devaluing our entire industry. And we don't get the respect that we deserve for the work that we do. So, you know, for this reason alone, I hate when people discount, because it gives them a reason to treat us inferior and disrespect our staff. And then the other thing about discounts is, because we're not making enough money, we actually have to then lower our wages for our employees. They're the ones doing the hard work, but because we're not collecting enough money, like there's not enough of the pie to go around, so we have to like portion out and lessen their pay, because we're not being paid enough for what we're doing. So that's why I don't like discounts. And the other thing about discounts is it actually teaches your customer to ask for more discounts. So like, my daughter has a new puppy, and she's teaching this puppy how to sit and how to shake. And she rewards the puppy with a treat every time they do, you know, he does the right thing. And it's the same thing that we're doing with discounts. When we give a discount, we're literally teaching our customer to ask us for more discounts. So we reward them like, oh, sure, of course, let me give you $25 off. Guess what happens the next time they call you? They ask you for another discount, and you say, oh, sure, yeah, of course, no problem. So we've trained them like a dog to ask us for discounts. And all we're doing when we discount is we're collecting less money for us. And the biggest reason of all of why we should never discount is it because it reduces our profit. And as a low margin business, the one who is affected the most is you. So everybody else gets paid. Your vendors get paid, your employees get paid, everybody gets paid. And here you are as the owner of this business, because you've decided to discount, now there's no profit. And you literally scratch your head and say, I can't make any money in this business. I wonder why I can't make any money in this business. How do other people make money in this business? Well, it's because you're giving, the discount is where you would have made money. So I hate discounts. I'll say that until, I don't know. I mean, I'll just say that I just hate discounts, especially in the cleaning industry. So I don't want to see any more of this. And I wish I had more time to tell you a better way, but I promise you there is a better way. This is not the way to do it. Do not lead with a discount. You need to become more valuable. When you add more value, you become more valuable. And that's what I teach about. But this needs to stop. The whole $100 off, $10 off, all the discount leads, it needs to stop. And especially since now we need to charge more money. And this is why I want you to charge more money. When you charge more money, you have more money to invest back into your business to make your service better. I personally am constantly making my business better in all areas. I want this experience of doing business with my company to be the best that it can be. And I'm always trying to figure out ways to make it even better. And the only way I can do that is by having more money. And I have to charge money to have more money to make the experience with my company even better. Also, when you charge more money, you have more money to spend on marketing. I can't tell you the number of businesses I talk to who tell me, Carrie, I don't have any money to spend on marketing. Well, because you're not charging enough money. You have to charge more money because this business is a cash flow business. You've got to have cash to invest back into your business, to market, to get more customers. You need to have more money to pay your employees. Remember in the last example, when you discount, you've got less of the pie. When you have more money, you can pay your employees more money. And the fourth reason is now you have money to put in your own pocket. This business is too hard not to make a profit. So I firmly believe that you should always be making your business better, and you should charge more money. So the truth is that in the new economy, so I'm saying post, or maybe not even post COVID-19, but because of COVID-19, in the new economy, you must be prepared to charge more money. And the reason is our business just got more expensive to operate. I don't know what sort of guidelines, federal guidelines are coming down for us as far as, cleanliness in between homes. Like, are we going to have to do something to our vacuums, which we're doing? But what I'm getting at is, gloves could be a thing in the future. Shoe covers could be a thing in the future. I don't know. All of that costs money. And because we are a low margin industry, your only option is to charge more money. So I want you to go into this, whatever your strategy is, with the belief that I have to charge more money, not because you're being greedy, but because you want your business to be the best that it can be. So do everything that you can to move away from discounts and set yourself up to be the premium provider in your community, because you're the best. And the only way that you can become the best is because you have more money, right? And the only way you get more money is when you charge more money. So I want you guys to understand that, like, this industry, I know we're going through, like, it's a bump in the road. I don't know that I'm going to call it a short term. I don't know what the short term length is. Certainly for the rest of this year in 2020, we're going to be in the midst of COVID-19. But I want you to understand is this business is about playing the long game. You're going to have to, again, survive during this short window. But then when we get back you need to like set yourself up for having huge momentum gains because of what you learned during this short window. Okay, you need to understand what your customers want, and it's something that you're going to have to always pivot towards is what they want, because business is going to change. But when it comes to this industry, playing the long game means having repeat customers for years. So you need to get back to having regular bi-weekly customers who are on your schedule every other week, and they're with you for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever it is. That's the long game. That's where we want to be. So yes, this time period is affecting us. It's impacting our business. But I need, right what I said from the beginning is I need you to focus on the future. I need you to focus on getting back towards where we were, which is focusing on the future, on bi-weekly customers who are every other week. That's the long game. Okay. And the last thing is I need you to execute like your life depends on it. So this is a little kid with a Nerf gun. I did have a picture of an actual gun, but I thought that would be a little bit abrasive. I'm really serious, you guys, when I say that you have to take action, and you have to take action like your life depends on it, because it does. Don't be that person sitting on the couch hoping that things will change. They're going to change, but you have to have a plan in place on how you're going to survive and then how you're going to thrive. And you can learn from all of the ARCSI events. You know, the ISSA convention is amazing. It's definitely worth the price of admission. There's so much that you're going to bring back to your business, but you have to be willing to execute. And this is where I'm really good. I don't sit back and wait for anybody to tell me when to do it or how to do it or anything like that. I just do it. So that for you, like right now, I need you to understand that you can't sit back, you can't wait, and you can't hope that things are going to change. You have to be really aggressive and take action like your life depends on it, because it does. It does. Right now, your action means everything for the survival of your business. So I wanted to make an announcement. I want to take this opportunity to announce that I am a certified Conquer coach. If you've heard of the business Conquer, Elena Ledoux is actually part of it. And there's a handful of coaches within the home service space. And so I just want to take this opportunity to let you guys know that I have actually joined this group, and I am going to be starting coaching. So I wanted to share with you what to expect. It's a 12-month program, and it would be one-on-one Zoom coaching. So it's live Zoom coaching with me for an hour every week. And the really amazing thing about Conquer is they have a resource library with so many amazing things that will help you in your business. It's almost like, you know how Apple had this saying, there's an app for that. Well, inside their resource library, it's like there's a resource for that. Like if you want to do price increase letters, there's a letter for that. It's all inside their resource library. So that's so valuable to the program. And then the other thing is accountability. I mean, accountability is huge, and that's what I needed in my own business, is for somebody to hold me accountable early on. I don't need that anymore. But that's truly a benefit of getting a coach, is the accountability to your business and to your goals. So with my coaching, you're going to learn new strategies for pivoting your business during this crisis. You're going to be able to implement new marketing initiatives to grow your business. You're going to create systems to become more efficient, and you're going to learn how to scale long term. So these are some people, just some reviews that I've had over the years, or I've only been doing this for a year, I shouldn't say years, but just some reviews. And if you're interested in getting started, you can go to my website, carrieknight.com, and fill out an application. And then from there, we'll do a one-on-one good fit call to see if we're a good fit. My training begins on May 19th. So if you're interested, definitely fill out an application. Let's see, again, if we're a good fit. I'm going to start training on May 19th. And this is how you would follow me on social media. hashtag, or not hashtag, what am I saying? On Instagram, it's Carrie Knight HQ. On Facebook, my page is Carrie Knight Consulting. And I did recently start a Facebook group called Small Business Survival. And the whole purpose behind this group is to offer strategies and tips for surviving during COVID-19. So it's a little bit of what you just heard on this presentation. But I mean, my mission really truly is to give back and to help people come out on the other side. Again, I've been here before, so I know the struggle. Struggle is real. But I do want to be able to help and give back. So that's really it, Erin, and I'm ready
Okay.
for questions if there are any.
We have a couple, yes. First, how do you disinfect your power heads?
Okay, so we have a solution. Okay, so I'm using the electrostatic machines that is the technology. I mean, it's an actual technology that a machine, but they have a it's called a Pure Tab, which is an actual chlorine pellet that you put in water, and that makes the solution. So I've got this solution in my office, which is a disinfectant. And so we're using that to spray on our power heads, and it kills germs and viruses. So it's actually impossible to get these machines right now, the sprayers, just because of the demand. But if you look at the Eva Clean, EVA, evaclean.com, you'll see where it says Pure Tabs. And the Pure Tab is an actual tab, chlorine tablet, that dissolves in water to create the solution. So it's really cool technology.
Okay, we have, what is your best strategy to get cleaning technicians to feel safe to return to work?
Well, I mean, it's everything that I kind of went through, which is, we've taken the necessary protocols. So you're going to have to share with them what the protocols are. Are they going to wash their hands before they enter and when they exit a house? Are they going to wear gloves? And if so, I mean, you have to have the gloves for them. You're going to have masks for them. You're going to have shoe covers for them. Are you going to give them something to clean their cars? I mean, it's all the protocols. Like that's what I meant by strategy, is what's your strategy to make your customers and your employees feel safe? And that's an investment. You're going to have to spend money to get all the gloves. I mean, I can't tell you how much money we spent. We spent a lot. And so we spent money and time trying to get it, because it was so hard to procure all the new stuff that we needed. But if you want to make them feel safe, I mean, that's where you have to have your meetings with them and communicate. Hey, this is our strategy moving forward. We're going to wear gloves. We're going to wear masks. We're going to disinfect our cars. We're going to wash our hands. All of those things are what you're going to have to over communicate and make sure everyone understands, because their safety is what's most important.
And I think that leads into this one a little bit. It was, how would you address the extra costs for all the gear and disinfectants without hiking the price up too much?
I'm a big believer in that you have to hike up your price. I mean, it's the only way.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. I'm not talking about going back to your current customers and saying, oh, now you've got to pay me, I was charging you 100, now you're going to pay $250 for cleaning. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that moving forward, like I should have said this in my presentation, but you got to go back and increase your prices, like right now, today, before you leave. Your prices should go up for all new customers. They have to. And I don't know if that's a per customer or some formula that you use. You have to, you can't, none of us are going to be able to absorb these costs. So therefore, all of our businesses just got more expensive. I increased my prices, I would say 4 or 5 weeks ago, for new customers. Because I have to. Everything just got more expensive.
And I think this one is, I'm trying to read, does one need to be certified to disinfect?
Well, maybe from a commercial standpoint, possibly, if you're going to wear, like from a hazmat standpoint, that's considered remediation. So there's two types of cleaning. You've got prevention and you've got remediation. So remediation is, you know, that maybe the maybe the building that you're disinfecting has COVID-19. So there are certain guidelines that you have to follow in order to, you know, follow the right protocols. I'm not going down that path, so I can't tell you that there is some certification, but I know that I'm seeing people who are saying, I'm now certified, and I'm assuming that's coming out of your group, right, Erin? The certification, the
Well,
training?
yeah, there's different ones, but what ISSA has provided is the GBAC Fundamentals online course, and it's also being referred to as the Microbial Warrior Workshop, and that's a workshop, and residential cleaners can take that for just $49. And it's not a certification. You do get a certificate that shows completion of the course at the end of it, so that you have that you can show your clients that you've taken this training, but it's not necessarily a certification.
And I mean, I definitely recommend taking the course. I mean, for $49, that's kind of a no-brainer, because now that we live in this new world, we have to make sure that the products that we're using are safe, and that, you know, again, that we're not using bleach and something else and creating some sort of like lab in people's homes and cause an explosion. So, I mean, me personally, we've been using our sprayers, the Pure Mist it's electrostatic. We've been doing it for 2 years. I mean, what's changed is that we're wearing gloves and masks, but nothing's changed as far as the way that we actually do the service.
The name of the ISSA course is the GBAC Fundamentals online course. It's also referred to as the Microbial Warrior Workshop. Patty Ollinger, who works for GBAC, has said that we're all microbial warriors now.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yes, we are. And yes, this webinar we are recording today, and this will be available in our online library as soon as we can get it up there. Thank you, Carrie, very much. This was a great presentation. I'm getting a lot of good feedback here, so, you know, saying it was a great
Good.
presentation. So, Carrie, you're awesome.
I hope it was
So
helpful.
I think a lot of people took a lot of knowledge out of this that they can use definitely in their businesses. And we will hear from Carrie again next week. We're actually doing, it's not necessarily, I guess it's a webinar like, but we're going to try and do more of a virtual roundtable next week. We're going to talk about how to thrive in an uncertain environment with Carrie Knight, Alonzo Adams, and Elena Ledoux. They are all part of the Conquer team, and we are happy to be featuring the Conquer Live team will be at our show this year in Chicago. So we're very excited to have them on board. You know, maybe this will be a little bit of a preview, but we have a lot in store for everybody. We've been working real hard on what we're going to do with the show in Chicago. I think that was it. Oh, no. Our Conquer Live, in addition to having Carrie, Elena, and Alonzo next week, we are having Brandon Vaughn, who will be doing the presentation in Chicago on a special Hot Topic webinar on Tuesday, May 12th at 1 p.m. So the next couple of weeks, we've got some great webinars set up for you. We will get all the recorded ones in the library. And so, you know, continue to providing you resources to help you thrive during this environment. Again, thank you very much, Carrie.
Thank you, Erin.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week.